バカみたい子供なのね。夢を追って傷ついて嘘が下手なくせに笑えない笑顔見せた。I love you もろくに言わない。口下手でほんまに不器用なのにどうしてさよならは言えたの。ダメダメダメよダメなのよ。あんたが好きで好き好きでそれだけ強いお酒でも揺らがない思い出がバカみたい。バカみたいほんとバカね。あんた信じるばかりで強い女のふり切なさの夜風浴びる。一人になって3年が過ぎ街並みさえも変わりました。なのにどうして2年だけ置き去り。ほんまにろくな男やな。揃いの指輪外します。さわりの色彩するわ。
Toho has a lot of different types of species. That includes different types of yokai, humans, and other miscellaneous kind. And one of them are fairies. Today I would like to focus on them, and more specifically, answer a question, and that question being, how strong, or more accurately, how weak, are fairies in the Toho project? Fairies are small, human-like creatures that are the embodiment of nature. They're often represented as pitifully weak. Great example being that the most generic and fodder enemies in Toho games are usually fairies. The usual fairy is so weak that in fact a regular human would have no problem defeating it. One interesting thing about fairies is that they are practically immortal, because every time they would die, they get resurrected instead. As long as nature exists, they will too. With that said, we can easily ascertain that a regular no-name fairy would most likely count as the weakest type of yokai, or at least one of the weakest. But similarly to how there are humans stronger than others, fairies have a similar case. Let's start with the fairies of light. They are considered to be stronger than a regular fairy, and as such are a bit more dangerous to a human, while still being of no true threat. The dangerous part is that they're most of the time in a group of three, which makes them a bit more threatening. In Peppermento's strict sense, it's stated that Sunny's threat level is a bit higher than that of Luna and Star. Personally, I don't think that means she's any stronger than the other two. If I have to guess why that is, I think because of her more direct and more active nature. When talking about feats, they only have one that somewhat proves their strength. That being, Sunny managed to survive a hit from Yukari whilst using her ability. And to be honest, that's probably the greatest feat a fairy will ever achieve. Also, I had zero clue how to properly segue this in, but in Stranger Bright Nature Deity, the Fairies of Light put a giant boulder onto Chirno's igloo. I assume with the intention of murdering her. Luckily, Chirno wasn't home at the moment. Speaking of Chirno, let's talk about her next. Chirno is infamous for being the strongest, but how does that self-proclaimed title fare in comparison to other fairies? In surprise to some, Chirno is actually really strong for a fairy, strong enough to be of actual danger to a human when encountered. As stated in Peppermento's strict sense, while you can easily win against a normal fairy, against Chirno, it's recommended to seek an opportunity to flee. Additionally, when the Iki was fighting Chirno, she said that she possesses great power for a fairy, which further pushes the agenda of Chirno being very strong. Another surprisingly strong fairy is Lily White. While normally Lily's strength would be around that of a greater fairy, while announcing the fact that the spring has come, her power grows and is advised to avoid her if she attacks by using her ability. But generally speaking, Lily is very peaceful and friendly, and even if she were to attack someone, it's probably because she's excited about the coming of spring. Eternity Larva is stated to be around the strength of Chirno. Not much else is known about her besides the fact that there is a possibility of her being a god. Seeing as Okina mentions the possibility of her being the Tokyo no Kami, or in English, a god of the everlasting night. Also, Zun supports that theory by saying that Okina may or may not have uncovered her true identity. And lastly, the strongest fairy, Clown Piece. Oh, and also, I want to preface this, I won't be counting the super buffed version of Clown Piece as present during LOL-K. I'll be talking about the normal one. Those fairies are generally stronger than the normal ones, and from the interview with Katia from Alternative Facts in Eastern Utopia, we can concur that Clownpiece is most likely stronger than a regular Hell Fairy. Clownpiece is definitely much stronger than other fairies, like Chirno or Eternity, so much so that they probably don't compare to each other. But seeing as she was scared of Raymond Visionary, she's definitely not insanely strong. Probably strong enough to be tougher than any other fairy, but not strong enough to go past that. The moment she would face a medium strength yokai, she would probably falter. With all that said, I would like to visualize how these fairies compare to each other in some sort of ranking. And also, everything I say here is my own opinion, and it's just my interpretation. Okay, So I prepared this little triangle to better help visualize the difference in fairy strength. The bottom tier represents irregular no-name fairy, and the middle part, with Kosuzu, represents how the fairy compares to a regular human, like Kosuzu. I've already explained that the three fairies of light are stronger than regular fairies, whilst also being weaker than a human. As stated in Momentum restrictions, they will run away when caught by a human, which basically means they are weaker than them. It quite comfortably puts them in a tier above regular fairies, but below a regular human. The one fairy I didn't mention prior is Ayose, simply because there's almost nothing to talk about. The only information we have about her is that she's a greater fairy, which puts her in the same tier as the three fairies of light, although the three fairies of light are probably stronger than her. Let's talk about Cheer now. In Better Momentum strict sense, Akio says that in a scenario in which you are faced against Chirno, the best course of action is to flee. I interpret this as Chirno can and will win against a normal human, and also, we do know that she holds power great for a fairy. To me, that's enough to sanction her place in the tier above the three fairies of light and Ayose. Normally, Lily White is about as strong as any other greater fairy, as stated in Power 7 Omake, but in a scenario in which she uses her ability, her power escalates and she becomes much stronger. For the time, she's probably just as strong as Chirno, and probably even stronger, but for the sake of consistency, I will not count her ability, as most of the time she won't be using it. And all of that will most likely put her in the same tier as the three fairies of light and Ayose. In Toho 16 Omake, it's stated that Eternity is about as strong as Chirno, which makes my job a whole lot easier, and as I already said, there's not much else to go off of, so I'm going to put her in the same tier as Chirno. And now the last, and certainly not least, Clown Piece. Clown Piece was stated to be much stronger than any other fairy. For a moment in time, when she was buffed by Junko's ability, she was without a doubt a force to be reckoned with. But all that was just for the events of LK. Right now, she is still extremely strong for a fairy, and strong for a hell fairy. Hekatia states that Clown Piece is strong, and seeing as she's the strongest character in Toho, I think she knows when she sees strong. And all that puts her into a tier of her own, above Chirno and Eternity. So that about wraps things up. If you have any questions about my ranking, then please feel free to ask. I will try my best to answer it. Also, if you have any... if I missed something, if you think I missed something, then please do let me know. I would like to make my content as canonically proper as possible, so all the comments are appreciated. But yeah, that's basically about it. Thanks for watching the video. I hope I can see you in the next one. Follow my Twitter, I guess. You can do that. But that's about it. Bye bye! Before I start this video, I would like to mention that this video is supposed to be some kind of EOS Day special, so I hope you can have a good EOS Day. Lots of fun and exciting content. The 20th anniversary of Terraria 6 is a pretty big deal, so I just wanted to be a part of it. Also, while I'm at it, like and subscribe. It would mean a lot. Also, you might as well follow my Twitter, link in the description. Thank you, and let's start the video. Also, this video is kind of like a theory video, so don't take things said in here as absolute facts. Okay, now for real, let's start the video. Ever since I started being a fan of Toho years back, I always held some kind of appreciation for Emilia, as she was, and still is, one of my favorite Toho characters. But just as I was a big fan of Toho, I also was interested in power scaling before I knew that it's a stupid concept to bring into Toho. So whilst both of them together, I noticed that occasionally some people speculated that Remilia might not have her ability, seeing as many of her actually use it, and since Remilia is known to have lied about herself in the past, it wouldn't be that big of a stretch to actually say that she also lied about her ability. And so, this video will serve as a tool to debunk the theory of Remilia not having the ability to manipulate fate. And in general, I will just talk about her ability. Before I start talking about Remilia, one should first understand the difference between fate and destiny. A bit large chunk of people don't even know that these two are different, but what's very important is the fact that Remilia controls fate and not destiny. Fate is something you have no control over. No matter what you do, it was already decided by fate. Fate is actually pretty meta, in a sense that you might think you're contradicting fate, but in fact, that too was decided by it already. Destiny is similar, but what matters are the choices. Destiny lets you choose what happens with you. You have full control over your decisions and actions. And to be honest, I'm not even sure if I explained Destiny properly, but for the sake of the video, it doesn't really matter. What you need to understand is that fate is absolute, whilst Destiny is not. Also, this brings up a topic. How do you even change fate if it's supposed to be absolute? Hypothetically, let's say that Remilia changed fate and made it so that she won an EOSD. She won because she changed fate, but the fact that she changed it was already decided by fate, since fate is absolute. So that means she didn't change fate. Changing fate is a paradox, because whilst you change it, the fact that you changed it was already decided by fate. So you didn't change it, but you did. It's kind of difficult to wrap your head around it, but I hope I explained properly. So with all that said, how can we even know that Remilia changes fate? There's a couple answers to that. A. She changes fate all the time and we don't even notice. B. She can see into the future. This option makes a lot of sense and was kind of mentioned by Flandre, but even she herself isn't sure if it's like that. C. She has the ability to change fate but doesn't use it. D. She doesn't have an ability. And to be honest, I have no clue which one of these is correct. I will try to argue one of them a bit later in the video, but there is zero concrete answers to this question. Okay, but like I said prior, we never actually see Remilia use her ability, and that's the main problem. All potential uses of her ability are extremely vague, and honestly, it's almost as if Zun forgot that she has an ability, and he just put a couple lines into Touhou 8 so that it seems as if she has something. In perfect momentum and strict sense, it's said that misfortune befalls people that are in her vicinity, but we never actually see the SDM crew complain about it, so it has to be something she uses manually. Later, it's stated that she can change people's lives with only a word. But like, I want you to remember, all that was an in-universe article by Akio. So like I said before, Remilia is known to hype her own shit up very much. So I don't know how credible it is. But truth be told, we have nothing else to go off of, so I guess I'll take it. So now that we know all that, let's tackle how different Touhou abilities are represented. Okay, so the most important one for this section is Flandre. Seeing as they're sisters, it would make sense that their power levels are somewhat similar, and that means abilities as well. They're very similar to each other, at least in my eyes. As far as we're aware, Flandre's power has no limit, seeing as the description for her power clearly states that she can destroy absolutely anything. Since Flandre's ability doesn't seem to have a limit, it would make a lot of sense if Remilia's ability was similar, in that it doesn't have a limit. Another Touhou ability that I would like to take into account is Sakuya's time manipulation. Since also from EOSD, Sakuya has the power to control time, which means a lot of things. She can speed up time, slow it down, erase it, and obviously stop it. There's a lot more things she can do with it, but it doesn't really matter for this video. As far as we're aware, her time stop is infinite, or just really long. We honestly don't know how long she can stop time for. In video games, it's balanced, so it stops time for a couple of seconds, like in Soku. So that's another ability that does what it says. And my question is, why wouldn't Remilia follow the same rule? And here is where my coping comes into play. Also, this kind of goes into theory territory. In my opinion, if I had to bet on it, I'd say that Remilia does have the power to control fate, but she chooses not to use it. Let me explain why I think that. Remilia is plenty stronger even when she's not using her ability. Also, if she has the power to control fate, she'd also know that changing fate is not something anyone should ever do. It's kind of like a taboo. Also, assuming she is like above fate, then she is the strongest character in fiction, outside of characters that can also change fate. Okay, but there is one statement by Zun that kinda challenges my theory. That being, Zun said that Hekatia is the strongest character in Touhou, and that had me thinking, how can she be stronger than somebody that can control fate? And what I'm about to say might seem a bit controversial, but I think Zun didn't account for abilities when making that statement. Let's think about it. Which power do you think is better? The ability to destroy absolutely anything, or the ability to have 3 bodies? The ability to have 3 bodies is definitely a strong one, but being able to destroy absolutely anything is kind of busted. But with all that said, you should never take Touhou abilities into account when doing power scaling, because it's impossible to properly scale them. And all that makes me think that Zun wasn't taking Touhou abilities into account when saying that Hekatia is the strongest. Let me just say it like this. Do I think that Remilia is stronger than Hekatia? Maybe. If she has complete control over fate, then probably yes. But do I think that Remilia would win against Hekatia? Absolutely not. That's not how Touhou works. And that brings us to the conclusion. I think, with my little brain, that I'm pretty sure Remilia can control fate, but chooses not to do it because it's the right thing to do. I also feel like it's against Remilia's personality to change fate, since changing fate wouldn't be fun because you already know the outcome. And the last thing Remilia wants is to be bored. Okay, no matter how you look at it, Remilia does have an ability. Whether you think that she can control fate, like I said, or you believe that she can see into the future, or anything in between. But what I want you to remember is that all that was just a theory, and I don't even know if I agree with myself. I just thought it'd be a fun video idea. Well, Anyway, that's it. Tell me what you thought about my video, and I guess I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.
close to God like men. About 4 or 5 months ago, there was a TikTok account that I was made aware of. I won't say the name of it, nor will I say the name of the channel that I'm about to talk about here. And as always, please don't go and harass this person. But the TikTok account, it was basically one guy going into these pseudo-intellectual takes trying to break down why women are the way they are, implying that they're stupid and built differently, making them inferior to men, saying things like they can't get close to God like men can, and that they can't be trusted. Just horrible shit. He'd also imply that they only care about big dick and a lot of dick. And like, yeah, the only way to get laid is by having a huge sledgehammer penis. Science confirmed it. It's just like really alarmingly terrible shit. And over time it became more and more clear that this guy just doesn't like women. He seems to just hate women. Just really awful shit. He eventually got banned for it, luckily. But now he's taken that filth and put it on YouTube. And I just wanted to share a little bit of it with you. So this is a video of his called "Women Are Not Real." And I don't like to use this word, but this is the epitome of incel shit.
Women are the physical manifestation of sensory perception. And in the same sense that when your senses are overloaded in any particular way, whether they're overloaded with pleasure or overloaded with pain, if your senses keep receiving that same stimulus over and over, you are not going to have as strong of a reaction to that same stimulus.
None of that meant anything. Everything he said there had actual no meaning behind it. It's just a lot of fucking nothing. You just took a bite out of a nothing burger that this guy fed you out of his ass. He so desperately wants to sound smart and it's just not working. I also can't tell if he's 15 or in his 20s. It's impossible to know for sure, but it looks like he's still going through puberty.
In this same sense, being that women are the physical manifestations of this phenomenon, that is why women's value must be preserved. They can't be trusted to handle anything of greater responsibility, anything of greater importance than daily household chores and taking care of babies. Not taking care of children, taking care of babies.
Well, that sounds a bit alarming, a bit of a red flag, but who am I to question the expert? Just look at the amount of books he has on his shelves. This guy is clearly a genius. He also even has some cursed ancient Egyptian relics back there for some reason, like the fucking Millennium Puzzle or something. So, I mean, he must know what he's talking about. He seems very, very knowledgeable. When I first heard this, I was convinced it had to be a troll, but the more and more I look into this guy, the more clear it becomes that this guy has just actually been indoctrinated into the incel shit. He comes out right away and just says the only thing women can handle is household chores and babies. Holy shit.
Because once babies turn into children, that's when the psychological development comes into place, which far exceeds the capabilities that women are able to provide for the child. But going back to the value preservation, women's value has to be preserved while a man's value has to be created. Women are born with inherent value, men are born with no value, or next to no value.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, men really got the short end of the stick. We have no value compared to women. Who the fuck hurt this guy? Yeah, I find it hard to believe he's ever talked to a woman, so I don't think he has like a real world experience getting like his heart broken or something, causing this kind of monster he's become. I really think he's probably just been terminally online and then just started adopting the incel beliefs.
The reason a woman has inherent value is because her value is based on her fertility. To put it bluntly, that's what it's based on. Women's value is based on their fertility. That's why it's in the best interest of a woman not to waste her inherent value and try to lock down a high value man or a man who looks like he's on his way to becoming high value as soon as she can.
That's right, ladies. Time is running out. You're missing your chance with this high value alpha male. Like, what are you waiting for? Your ovaries are drying up. Your pussy, it's gonna turn to dust unless you let this guy put his dick in it. So, you're fucking up. You're losing a high value male by waiting around. Come on, he's just right around the corner over there.
Like I said, the more experiences, whether positive or negative, that a woman goes through decreases her value because women cannot handle the stresses or the pleasures of life.
Yeah, ladies, you're supposed to stay locked in a fucking isolation chamber, a sensory deprivation tank, and wait for this fucking angel to grace you with his huge wiener. Alright? The more times you're having fun, the more times that you're maybe being sad, the less valuable you are. So stop having experiences, okay? Just exist in a fucking ball and wait for this man to ride in on his white stallion with a chariot and his dick and balls out and take you off your feet. So that way he can breed. God damn it, stop being so selfish and having experiences, you harpies. I'm obviously cutting some parts of this video out because he just drones on and on and on and on. So I'm trying to just get all of his main points here, and my god is it absolute lunacy.
The more stress she goes through, the more she sees the world as nothing more than a negative place. And I've mentioned this in a previous video, but it's because women are not able to connect with God in the same way that men are. Women are not able to renew themselves mentally. They see everything on earth through the lens of the material.
What in tarnation? I must have missed that lesson in Sunday school, but he's blown the case wide open. Apparently women just can't connect to God the same way men can. And if you can't have a good connection to God like this guy does, you're fucked. What's the point? You don't have any value. Over and over and over again, this guy harps on the belief that he thinks women are too stupid to handle anything. He doesn't even view them as humans, it sounds like. He literally views them as like machines to pump out babies. All he says is that women aren't capable of handling experiences. That's like his main point right now. They don't have the same mental fortitude that men do, nor do they have the same connection to God that men have. Like, what the fuck is even wrong with you to think that for a second?
They see everything on earth through the lens of sensory perception. If something doesn't excite them enough, then it's not a good thing. If something stresses them out too much, then it's also not a good thing. Everything has to be new, everything has to be fresh, everything has to be exciting all the time, 100% of the time, otherwise it's bad. That's how women see the world. They don't have an accurate lens of reality through which they see the world. They just don't see reality.
Oh, but this guy sees reality. Yeah, this guy's really grounded in reality. This guy is so perceptive to reality. He's like Doctor Strange. He can see every possible reality in the known multiverse. Oh my god. And then he talks about women like they're all exactly the same, just fucking clones of each other. He can't even wrap his head around the idea that people are different and not just what he reads about on these weird fucking subreddits.
They interpret the quality of reality with the type of sensory input they're receiving. That's why girls don't work out. You ever wonder why the vast majority of women don't work out? They're fortunate enough to be born with a nice looking body, and then it just wastes away. They don't work out. They could preserve their body a little bit by working out.
Well, you heard it here first from this sculpted Adonis who only films from above the nipples to hide lack of muscle definition. No woman has ever worked out, or at least not many of them.
But that's why. It's because it hurts. Working out hurts. And since women only interpret the world through sensory perception, anything that hurts is a bad thing. They can't handle it. They literally can't handle working out. That's how strongly this influences their mind. And just as when I was saying earlier, when a woman goes through too many negative experiences, she's not able to renew herself because women are not as connected to God. They're not able to refresh themselves psychologically. They're not able to detach themselves from the material world.
Yeah, you suck. Yeah, you just fucking suck. It blows my mind that somebody like this not only exists, but also is delusional enough to post it online. Just literally put his face on this garbage. I can't imagine this is super helpful for him in his career if he has one, or if he's trying to make a career out of getting professionally banned on TikTok repeatedly.
So do pleasure experiences. If a woman has the best sex of her life with a guy, she will never be able to enjoy another man again.
Oh, so that's what happened here. The old 2-inch glory wand isn't getting the job done. The old skin flute ain't performing the way it used to. Now you just need to find something to blame? Okay. Now we're starting to put together the pieces of this jigsaw puzzle.
Even pleasurable experiences are too much for the woman to handle because they cannot refresh themselves. They can't see men in a new light. They can't appreciate different aspects of the man. All they see is whoever gives them the most dick, whoever gives them the most exciting experience.
I wonder if this guy actually believes that all women are just this wiener-hungry monster that's just constantly, like, foaming at the mouth for more cock to munch on. But it's never his wiener. You know, like, I can't imagine that he truly thinks that the only thing that matters to a woman is a penis. Like, how delusional. My god. I cut out a really long section where he just goes into divorce court, and to be fair, divorce court's pretty corrupt, like a lot of things. I don't think there's many people that would argue that divorce court is great, but he goes from that right back into, the only thing women care about is dick. Who gives them the most dick? Collect dick like Pokemon cards. My dick's good enough, goddammit!
Whoever takes her on the most expensive date, on the more expensive date, he's the one who's gonna take the cake. She will forever look at every other date after that with a sense of pity. You ever notice how girls who've been ran through or just more attractive girls tend to look at men with a sense of resentment or a sense of pity?
Bro, they look at you with a sense of resentment and pity because you are pathetic and creepy. Like, it's not... You make all of these massive generalizations. It's nutty. The things this guy says and the points that he makes are things that you would have read in Elliot Rodgers' manifesto. It's dangerous shit to actually fall into this pit where you think women are only here for men's pleasure and they only care about three things: dick, money, and height. I don't know if he even mentions height, I don't remember in the rest of the video, but he's already talked about how they only care about the biggest dick, the most dick, whoever has the most money.
Or they look at nice guys definitely with a sense of pity as well. It's almost like, oh, it's so cute, look at him trying so hard. He thinks this is actually impressing me. Look at him trying so hard to impress me. Why is he it's almost like they're confused. They're like, why is he trying so hard to impress me? What have I done to deserve such effort? Even they are not confused about the amount of value they provide. Even they understand that they are ruined. Even they understand that their value has gone out the window. It went out the window the first 100 guys they slept with. And I do mean 100.
God, it's so fucking painful. Even women in their dumb, small brains understand that they're ruined because they didn't fuck me. Even they understand with their primitive understanding of God and sensory perception can understand they're not worth the effort of a nice guy. Ugh. It's so gross.
Therefore, women are naturally going to have more options. It just makes it seem like that. That's why women's egos are through the roof. That's why the moment they don't get this attention, they go fucking nuts. Because it's been that way their entire lives. Don't be fooled. Even they understand that their value is gone. That's why they don't like guys treating them with appreciation. That's why they don't like guys treasuring them. Because they know they're not treasures.
This guy's definitely undergone a transformation. He's digivolved from nice guy to fucking creepy cult leader weird man who don't like women no more.
They know they're not worthy of that treatment, but they're in such denial. Women are masters of self-denial. They don't deny themselves anything. They'll take anything they can get. Women say men will fuck anything, and then be the anything that gets fucked.
This guy's heart has been broken many times. It's like the Grinch at Christmas. Just can't stand it now, huh? He just really can't even tolerate a woman from the sound of it. And I have to wonder, how does this all tie into the title, Women Are Not Real? Everything he's saying here still confirms their existence. I understand it's supposed to be like a clickbaity title. I mean, at least, like, relatively connected to it in some way.
It's so funny because for all the resentment towards men that ran through women have, they sure do seem to have sex with them all the time. They'll still take anything they can get. It's not like they turn down men's advances. It's not like...
Oh, so it must be pretty easy to get laid if women aren't allowed to say no. Apparently, no woman has ever turned down a man's advances. Because then he goes on to say that they just fuck anything that moves. So, wow. I mean, I guess it's pretty fucking easy. You just gotta take that first step. Like, hey, sex? And it should work out just fine.
They're able to make it seem like they're just victims and really the men are the perpetrators. Things are much more nuanced and complex than the vast majority of people will ever realize, much less admit to. But I don't want to ramble on for too long. I think I've spoken on this long enough.
He is right about one thing. He rambled on for way too fucking long. It was a chore to sit through this video. And to really add insult to injury, he uses an anime profile pic of Johann Liebert from Monster, which is a pretty good anime, and a pretty fitting profile pic for this guy, I think, because he strikes me as a psychopath. Like, the shit he says is so disconnected from reality, while trying his best to convince himself that he's the only one living in reality. His big bombshell point he makes at the end, which I completely cut out because it's too stupid, was women have more options than men. They can have more sex than men when they want to. That was like his big gotcha at the end, and treated it like it was some huge government secret. Such a fucking wild ride of a video. But yeah, anyway, that's about it. See ya. Online dating's pretty tough. I remember when I was a single man using Tinder, my go-to line was, "Do you like Brendan Fraser?" It worked to tremendous success. It was like a real-life cheat code for getting laid. But I understand not everyone's gonna be as suave as I was. However, I'd argue nobody has less game than the guy I'm about to show you. This should lift your spirits. If you ever feel bad about yourself, like, damn, I suck at online dating, just know you'll never be as bad as this living, breathing organism I'm about to show you. For those that have been around the channel for a while, you'll know that I've always enjoyed reading horrible flirting as well as just really disastrous, like, romance attempts online. I used to have a whole series going on Facebook flirting, which is where I learned about, you know, bitch lasagna, as well as also a line I still use today, put your ass in my asshole, baby. Things like that. I've always loved it. I don't really make content around it anymore, but today I had to come out of retirement. I had to dust off the old championship belt here for this one because I saw this on Reddit and I was smiling ear to ear. It is so bad. So this is where our journey begins. Now, again, this was posted to Reddit, so there's like a 90% chance it's fake. But god damn it, I'm gonna suspend disbelief and just enjoy the ride. Now, of course, I'm not an expert here. Rick wouldn't call me into the shop on Pawn Stars to check the authenticity of this piece. But there are countless of very real examples with pathetic dudes that go just like this. So, there is a good chance it's real. So these two have been talking for a little while, and my man comes in with the clown shoes and asks, "Are you on birth control?" I know it's a personal question, but kind of important to know. And then they say, "Okay, I'm canceling Wednesday." This could have gone better. This is suboptimal. This is a rough start right here. If it was a speed run, this would be a reset. This is about as bad as you could expect. He immediately ruined the date that they had planned by just immediately going full hog and just sending it. And from there was no recovering, and it gets real bad. He does not handle this super well. There was no grace or elegance. Well, I'm kidding, dude. Relax. He's just, yeah, it's just stand-up comedy, honestly. He was practicing his material. Why are you overreacting? I'm uncomfortable with these jokes. Okay, sorry, I'll stop, okay? No, I'm still canceling it. And now we get into his Joker arc. Well, that's really your loss for being so uptight, but okay. I'll just go to work and make $900 in 12 hours. Really? You're overreacting. Seriously? And you wonder why you're single? Yawn. Still waiting for your reply, lol. I actually had you double booked with another girl, so I'm kinda happy you decided to be a psycho. You sure you want to cancel it? This is a full roller coaster worth of emotion here. This man's hitting all 5 stages of denial within 6 text messages. This shit goes insano style quick. So let's break it down piece by piece, you know? At first it's like, okay, you're missing out on a catch, I'm the perfect guy, I'm a real fucking man, check my KD in Fortnite, I'm nuts. And you know what, fuck you, I'm just gonna go make $900 in 12 hours at my job, because I'm pulling fat racks. I've got stacks on stacks. Like, I'm kind of nutty. I'm one of the wealthiest men in the world, in fact. Then you can see panic start to set in when the money play didn't pan out. I'm guessing like 5 minutes had passed and he was already hyperventilating and breathing into a paper bag to calm himself down. So he tries to like put it on her like something's wrong with her. She's overreacting. Why are you just freaking out over nothing? It's like that scene in Airplane with that girl who's like afraid of flying. So they start like shaking her. Hey, get a hold of yourself. Come on, get a hold of yourself. It was just a joke. So then he goes right into his bad boy mode. He puts on his sunglasses and trench coat and says, you know what, actually this is good for me. I double booked you with another girl. So the fact that you're psycho is helpful for me, because now I can just go to this other girl. In fact, I was just trying to have like 10 girls to have sex with on the same day, and you were just one of the many. So it's not that big of a deal. But are you sure you want to cancel? Like, I'm totally telling the truth, but are you sure you want to cancel? I love that attempt. It's like, I'm so desirable, actually. In fact, I totally forgot I'd already had another girl that I was gonna fuck this day, so it's fine. And then has the audacity to call her a psycho. And I love the way that he says it, I double booked. This man has clearly never actually had a date in his life. It's like he's just penciling it in on a calendar, as if it's like a part of his job. Now we make a transition into Act 3 here, into just full-blown neediness and scary obsession. Please call me, please. I'm at work, dude. lol, I know. I'm just being incredibly annoying to show you how most guys act. So maybe you'll realize I'm not that bad. So I'll see you Wednesday? That doesn't even make sense. You were fine until that joke. This is a Hail Mary. This man hatched the ultimate plan. So after he realized that by begging to be called back, it was a bit much, a rare moment of self-reflection, he's like, okay, yeah, it's a bit weird. So then he's like, how do I get out of this now? I've got it. I was actually just pretending to be needy and obsessed. It was called acting. I was actually just doing this to show you what most other simpletons do, not a sophisticated, nice guy like me. So I'll see you Wednesday, right? Dude, I was kidding with you. It's a joke. You do know I'm a doctor, right? My brain thinks at a much higher level than yours or the average person. It wasn't even sexual. It was a joke. And I said if you don't like those type of jokes, I won't joke like that anymore. This should be the end of it. You should be like, okay, cool. And then if I do it again, then you get pissed. Yeah, he's a doctor. Dr. Love, baby. This guy's good. This is real smooth. I have to imagine he's not actually a doctor. I mean, maybe fucking Dr. Evil. I don't know. But regardless, I love that he's like, I actually just have such a galaxy brain. I'm thinking on a totally different level than you and all of these other plebeians. I'm just too fucking smart. That's my curse. That's the burden I bear. I'm too intelligent, which is why I made this joke. And the joke is a thinking man's joke. It's actually an anti-joke, in fact. You know how there's like matter and antimatter? This is an anti-joke, and now I'm explaining it to you so you don't have the right to get mad about it, you see? You're just wrong for getting upset about it, and it's because I'm so much smarter than you. And I understand that it's not your fault for being fucking stupid, but just know that since I'm a doctor, I know what's right and what's wrong when it comes to joking. You off just get pissed right off the bat and be all rude to someone. That's a major turnoff, and just know. Yeah, she was the one being rude. She was nice enough to give you like a warning that she's canceling. She's like, hey, you're a fucking weirdo and I'm canceling. She could have just said nothing and not showed up on Wednesday, wasting your time by going there. And you just sit there all fucking soft cock in hand waiting and just not even getting a response. But she was nice enough to like cancel to your face. Like, that's far more than you deserved. Okay, so rant over. Are we cool now? Yeah, I think things are good now. I'm reading the room and it looks like he may have solved this problem here and fixed everything. You just talk shit to me. All I said was I'm canceling it. I didn't do what did talk shit to someone. What? Those are not coherent sentences. Of course I'm talking shit to you. You just flaked after I asked for that night off. Do you know how hard it is for me to get a night off work? Continuing further, let's just stop this childish nonsense. I'll see you Wednesday, right? This is that shit, don't take no for an answer, which I think is honestly the worst advice you can ever give someone. No is like the most important answer you should accept. By not accepting no's, you're just gonna go to jail at some point. Like, you're just asking for some kind of awful thing to happen to you. Like, no is an important thing to recognize and respect. And then they respond, you do not need to criticize my sentences. Change of mind and telling you about it doesn't really make it flaking. I was upfront. You said you already booked another date with someone else. Go enjoy it. I don't know why you're trying to with me, especially since you think so little of me already. Man's going full-blown car salesman. Just meet me Wednesday. I'm sorry, okay? Just will not drop it. There is no chance she shows up on Wednesday. This is coming across like an actual serial killer now who's just scratching at his neck for his next victim. Like, he just cannot help but just keep saying, you're coming Wednesday. I know you are. You're gonna meet me here Wednesday. Call me immediately. I'm at work. I'm not going to take the call. Okay, then we are meeting Wednesday, right? Are we cool? I feel like she might be talking to King Ghidorah here, just three separate heads all talking at once and all having different thoughts. One of them is just a fucking android that can only say Wednesday. One of them's just like a spiteful lunatic who thinks that there's some galaxy brain intellect that can't help but shit on her. And then one of them's just like a lobotomized zombie who just constantly just keeps asking, are we cool? Are we good now? It's wild, like the swings this guy goes through on these text messages here. Then he goes all in saying, look, my mom recently died, okay? So I'm kinda not really in the best place to be messed with. So if you could understand that, would be great. Please, dude, please answer me. Can you please stop being immature and call me? Now, admittedly, she was being very immature about this whole situation by not understanding such level-headed remarks from a gentleman like this. It really was her being immature, clearly. And I also can't help but respect the actual Xbox Live tactic of saying his mom died. That is unironically 2005 Xbox Live shit right there. Like, your mom's a whore, mom's dead, and it's supposed to be like the checkmate. He actually tried it. It's like, oh, mom's dead, so now you have to excuse everything I've said, and you have to go on this date with me. I'll see you Wednesday, right? Come on, stop being immature. So yeah, anyway, that's where this story wraps up. Hopefully, if some of you are shitty at online dating, this will help you feel a little bit better and maybe help you improve in that respect in some way. Hopefully, none of you are as bad as this guy or anywhere close, but if you're just kind of, you know, awkward and uncomfortable when it comes to conversations via text, maybe this will lift your spirits up a little bit, because you're probably not as bad as this guy. Anyway, that's about it. See ya. A couple days ago, a video went viral on TikTok. It's a creepy guy leaving a disturbing voicemail to a woman where he basically hypes himself up as the perfect man, and the lady was truly lucky that he graced her with his presence. He's the ultimate fucking alpha male, super masculine specimen, and he's taken time out of his busy day to send her a voicemail. And of course, this shit gets weird fast. He leaves multiple voicemails, and they get more and more aggressive and sinister. Now, I don't want to spoil anything, but there is an interesting story here, full of a lot of twists and turns. It's like fucking Fight Club, but for a shitty pickup artist.
Yeah, hi there, all good, Dimitri. Sorry I had to leave such a rushed message with you. when we met the other day. I just want to quickly give you my phone number, and I had to get the heck out of the area.
Meet Dimitri the Lover. He's the reason your panties are sodden right now. Be honest, if you received this voicemail, would you be able to resist him? Nobody can. No one has that kind of willpower. You would have to fuck him on the spot. So suave. And he's truly an expert of his craft. He makes himself sound so dark and mysterious. I had to give you my number and then get out of there. I had to get the heck out of there ASAP. I had to get out of town, scram and skedaddle. Why? What was so urgent that you needed to flee? What was the rush? Were you being chased by Batman? I mean, he sounds exactly like the Joker in the Dark Knight trilogy, so maybe.
In any event, I figure I better leave you a more detailed message and explain why I approached you. I am single. I have no trouble meeting women. I mean, women approach me 6-7 times a day. But I'm very particular about what I like. You're extremely elegant.
If a guy tells you he has no problem meeting women, then he has no problem meeting women. That guy is slaying pussy left and right. Dude probably has a threesome waiting for him at home, and you are lucky that he stepped away from that in order to talk to you. Spoken like a real alpha male here. No doubt this man's getting approached 6 to 7 times a day. No doubt in my fucking mind. That's probably on the low end. That's probably like during the off-season. I bet when spring break rolls around, maybe even St. Patrick's Day, he's getting upwards of 20 offers for sex.
I couldn't take my eyes off of you, and your friends were very jealous. Even if they say they weren't, they were envious of the fact that I approached you, and I was very taken by you. Elegant women are very rare. I'm Greek, and I'm very particular about what I like. So I'm giving you an opportunity here.
Sounds like he's about to pitch an NFT scam to her. Like he's trying to sell her on some kind of multi-level marketing scheme. This dude talks like an anime villain who's explaining his plan to the protagonist. He's just so fucking weird. It sounds like Die Hard 3 every time Bruce Willis would pick up the payphone to talk to the terrorist. It's just so, like, unnerving listening to this guy talk. And then, of course, he goes into, your friends were jealous. Did you know that? I saw it in their eyes. They were so fucking envious of you when I approached you. They might say they weren't jealous, but that's just them lying. That's how you know they were actually really jealous. And you know what? You watching right now, if you want to make your friends jealous, get on the wait list for the new G Fuel flavor. Finally have a custom flavor, Divine Peach. It's peach plus kiwi plus dragon fruit. For billions of years, the universe has been building and evolving, and now we finally reached the apotheosis. The link to join is in the description below.
Around all weekend doing that. I left you my number, 416-918-4. This looks like a landline, and if it is, you may not get the message till Monday, but when you do, call me. And then we'll get together for coffee and chat and let the romance begin.
What a great way to kick off a relationship. Let the romance begin. That's such a bold statement. It immediately lets the person know, I am here with romantic intent, and it's time to commence. Let the pussy flow, please. Where's your vagina? This is where the romance starts. Come on. Did you hear? I said let the romance begin. I think it's extremely effective. He's reinventing the relationship meta here. No guesswork anymore. Once they say let the romance begin, well then that shit better start. It's so fucking good. It's like a terribly written line in an old video game. Like some Resident Evil 2 shit. I would also love to read that movie script he said he was working on. I bet it was an actual masterpiece up there with The Room and Citizen's Kane. But unfortunately, I think we all know he wasn't actually working on a movie script. He just said that to seem interesting and cool and unique. He was most likely just sitting in a dark room in his shit-stained underwear after hyping himself up in his bathroom mirror for over an hour, working up the courage to finally call the woman who made a grave mistake of giving her phone number to this psychopath.
You look very taken aback by my approach, and I hope that isn't timidness. I hope it was just a little bit of shock at being approached so directly, because I don't really date timid women. Because I'm a very direct, very passionate, very assertive man. And I want a woman who's very independent and strong. So anyway, we'll talk about that. But I just wanted to formally introduce myself. Now I have. I leave the ball in your court. You call me as soon as you have the courage to. Okay, Olga? Talk to you soon. Bye.
This is a man who can date any woman in the world, and he's chosen her. How can you be so lucky? Some people win the lottery, some people win Dimitri. And you could argue that they're both about equal in terms of how lucky the person was. So, let me go ahead and reveal the big twist here. This is all genuine, this is real, it's not fake, it's not staged. But the twist is, this is not happening currently. This is about 10 years old, I think it's like 9 or 10 years old, and it comes from a pickup artist named James Sears, who also went by Dimitri the Lover when he was in the pickup artist game. He had his own little alias as Dimitri the Lover, and this was one of the voice messages he left to someone named Olga. That is not the lady in the TikTok here, and she's not trying to, like, deceive people or hide it. She, in another TikTok video after this, clarifies, like, hey, look, I'm not Olga. This is actually just an old sound clip from Dimitri the Lover, who actually sent this to someone named Olga. Now, James Sears, Dimitri the Lover, is in jail now. The most shocking thing I'm sure you've heard all day. I'm as surprised as you are. He was arrested for a bunch of hate speech related things and then rearrested after reaching parole. Now, I'm sure you all have a picture of what this guy looks like in your head right now, and I'm about to show you what he actually looks like, and I bet a huge amount of you are very close to what he looks like in the real world. He looks exactly like what you expect. Almost exactly like what I have pictured when I first heard this. So here he is. It's fucking wild, huh? He looks exactly like the caricature of a bad, goofy, creepy pickup artist would look.
Hi there, Olga. It's Dimitri calling again, the guy from the street. I left you a message several days ago. You said you were interested. Now, here's the way I work. I don't like leaving second messages, but I like you. You're a very elegant woman. You're very attractive. But, you know, I don't play that game. I know your friends tell you not to return calls. You're playing games like you see on stupid TV shows. So here's how it's going to work.
You just made Dimitri leave a second voicemail. God help you. Your soul is in jeopardy now. Dimitri doesn't like to leave voicemails. In fact, the last time Dimitri left 2 voicemails, he cried. You gonna make him cry again? Dimitri doesn't like to cry. You can hear him starting to get angry. He starts saying, this is how it's gonna go. So we're getting to experience in real time the transformation of a nice guy into a bad boy.
It is now 4:30 on Wednesday. Now I'll assume that you've already left work, because, you know, some people leave early, and I'll grant you that. But if I do not receive a phone call back from you by 3 o'clock Thursday afternoon, I'm no longer interested, and you can erase my number. I don't play games like that. I'm completely single. I'm very intelligent.
Hey, listen, Dimitri, you don't have to tell us that you're intelligent. We all get that impression here. Just listening to you, I think we can all recognize that your IQ is at least 5 figures. Like, that shit is huge. That is a galaxy brain you're working with.
I'm great in bed. I make great money. Believe it or not, I'm a complete catch. I've only been single 4 months. I had a long-distance relationship. You know, it went a year. It's very tough to maintain it like that, and it didn't work out. There's nothing wrong.
Undoubtedly, he is the complete package. This truly is a huge catch here for Olga. I can't believe the long-distance relationship didn't work out. I bet this guy was doing everything he could to make it work. But it is difficult to keep that going when the long-distance relationship is Dimensions with that 2D waifu kind of shit. But, you know, I'm sure he had a good time and it was mutual. And now, Olga had a chance, but she blew it. You know, she didn't call back in a timely fashion, and Dimitri had to leave 2 voicemails, and from there, the whole ass was blown off of this operation here, and there was no salvaging the relationship. They could have been a great couple. They could have been married by now. And this is where the TikTok video ends, but the legend of Dimitri the Lover doesn't stop there. There's actually still quite a bit from Dimitri the Lover, but I won't get into it today because there's a lot. He was kind of popular on the internet as a punching bag. I was vaguely familiar of him like 10 years ago or something. I knew the name at least a little bit. So there is more, but we won't go over it today. Maybe at some point we'll go through more of his voicemails and shit that he used to do, but for now, that's about it. See ya.